Hey, what's up, you guys? So I want to make this video and I wanted to talk about not being a part of this world, and I want to talk about Nofap and semen retention. So I noticed in this world that we live in right now, there are so many topics where the world will try to convince you that something is good for you, but in reality, it's not really beneficial for you, okay? I mean, it's everywhere. Everything you touch in this, at least in America right now, or you see on the television, they try to convince you that it's great, it's wonderful for you, and this and that. So we live in a world where people are literally smoking cigarettes, they're vaping, they're drinking alcohol, they're watching porn, they're doing all types of stuff that, I mean, it's just not good for you at all. They tell you that going to the bars and the clubs and the strip clubs and this is fun and exciting. They tell you that there's nothing wrong with playing video games or being on your phone just scrolling through TikTok and Instagram or just watching hours and hours of videos on YouTube, okay? And they try to get you to do stuff that you shouldn't be doing, so you don't have time to do what's really important, okay? If this makes any sense. And there's tons of addictions out there. There's tons of things they tell you that are, great for you, and they bombard you with all this stuff, okay? So I was sitting there thinking, if you're on NoFap, you probably should try to not be a part of the world. And let me rephrase this, okay? Because when I tell people, hey, I don't want to be a part of the world, a lot of people can't comprehend this. And there's a lot of people that, if they listen to this video, they will have no clue what I'm talking about, but that's okay. So when I talk about being a part of the world, you're supposed to be different from the world. You're supposed to sit there, and you shouldn't want to be a part of the world, okay? Because the world's just getting more and more wicked. The world is getting more and more out of control. People are just living their life however they want, and they don't care. They don't even blink an eye now at what used to be good is now evil. And the world is taking what's evil is now good. So this relates to pornography, semen retention, and nofap. So the world will convince you that, oh, fapping, it's great for you. It releases so much stress. You should do it once a day or 2 or 3 times a week. Oh, you don't want to hold that stuff in. It'll cause prostate cancer. And they'll tell you all the health benefits and all this stuff as to why you should be doing that. It'll, they try to make it seem like it's lovely to sit there and look at porn, okay? But I sit there and I think about the Bible, okay? And I think about Jesus, and I think about back in his era and his time. I sit there and I think, do you think Jesus was sitting there really just, walking away from the disciples and going in a private area and sitting there, oh man, I'm going to sit there and do this? No, he wasn't thinking about that stuff because he knew that it was wrong. But in this world, they want to convince you that, no, fapping, it's great, it's lovely, there's nothing wrong at looking at multiple women and guys doing each other and this and that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's lovely. Think of it as just a way to, maybe if you're having a bad day, to relieve some stress, okay, is what they tell you. And they will do everything in their power to sit there and to get you to not be your higher self. So they will convince you that there's nothing wrong. They'll convince you that, well, you had a hard day at work, so what's the big deal? You go drink that alcohol. Or they'll say, hey, you had a rough day today, so, it's okay to sit back and just relax and watch TV all night, binge watch, play video games, But in reality, they don't want you to be your higher self. They don't want you to sit there and level up. They don't want you to be the best version of yourself, because they know that if they could keep you weak, distracted with all this nonsense going on, you're more likely to have all types of problems and health problems and this and that. instead of leveling up. And you're not going to grow. I mean, you're not going to be sitting down reading the Bible or trying to meditate or try to just be in nature or go do anything that you should be doing, spending time with your family, your loved ones, okay? Doing things that are really important, because I sit there and think about the way this world's set up. A lot of people are working their regular jobs. They come home and they're already beat, they're already exhausted from work. And what do? Instead of going home wanting to read the Bible or whatever, oh man, I'm just gonna relax, man. I don't want to go work out. Man, I just want to relax. Let me crack open that beer and just watch TV, man. Like, and this is what they want. They want you to fall into the traps of the temptations of the world. So I would encourage you guys, one of the best ways to try to just eliminate these traps is to try to start Nofap. Nofap will help this process, because once you could start eliminating certain things, other areas of your life will follow. And you have to ask God to help you with this, help you to realize what's important to you. Is your family important to you? Is reading the Bible important to you? Is praying important to you? And you have to ask God to be able to give you the time to do this stuff, because if you don't, our minds and our human flesh, we're not capable of doing this stuff on our own. You have to give it over to God. God will provide for you, will help you, but you have to do this. I mean, because if you try to rely on your, like I said yesterday, on your human flesh, your willpower and all this stuff, your human mind, we're going to fail. We are sinners. We're flawed. So you have to sit there and realize that you're not going to be able to do this on your own. You have to give it over and just know that God will take care of you and God will help you along the journey. But just know it's Satan's job to come in there and try to deceive you, trick you, manipulate you, and to get you to do all this wicked stuff, because we're in a spiritual battle here, you guys. So I would encourage you to get right with God. Ask God to help you along this journey, because if you're fapping, if you're watching porn, you're trying to constantly chase after women, you're not living a very good, clean life, and you're probably going to have, I mean, you might sit there and make it seem like, oh, my life is wonderful and great, but is it really wonderful and great? Or are you just trying to play tricks in your mind to convince yourself that doing this stuff is just natural, it's great, oh my gosh, I'm living my best life ever, but you just spent the whole entire day in your bedroom jerking off? I mean, or you're trying to chase after women all day long, every day. I mean, is that really living your best life? Or you're out here smoking, you're partying, you're at the strip clubs, you're at the bars, okay? Or let's say you go to some sort of event. You go to a baseball game, but you can't go to the baseball game because you can't socialize anymore because you have to have a beer with you, okay? And once you start realizing that holding this semen in, and once you realize on NoFap that this will just help the process. There's no one cure fits all, but this is part of the journey. And if you could realize this, then it'll open up doors to help you to evolve in other areas of your life. You have to keep leveling up. And it's a never-ending process, you guys. I mean, your whole life, you should be trying to grow your whole entire life. So I encourage you guys to get right with God and ask God to give you the ability to say, okay, what should I try to do to not be a part of the world? Because the world's going to convince you that, you know, drinking, smoking, doing all this stuff, it's great for you. There's no harm in it. You should be fapping. You should be doing this. You should, and it's not. It's the opposite. Anything that the news, the media, all these people try to promote that's great and wonderful for you, you should probably question that. So I just wanted to make this video and just say, you know, if you're on NoFap, you have to realize you're taking a step of not being a part of the world, and you have to ask God to give you the strength, the inner strength, the wisdom, the knowledge, and just continue to pray and just do the best you can, you guys, because the only way through this, if you're going to be on NoFap, is you're going to have grace from God. God's going to have to intervene here. And I mean, if you want to sit there and say, oh, I could do this all on your own, okay, but you'll quickly learn that you can't do this on your own, okay? So I hope that you guys have a great day, and God bless.